What's up, y'all? You know what time it is? It's about to be that time.
Savage.
What's up, guys? We're here. We're back. One Piece, 1067. All right. I'm happy to be here, guys. This is not the 100th stream, although we have done more streams than there have been chapters, so that, I don't know, the math might actually line up. We might have streamed 100 times. But the first chapter review on the channel was 967. So the journey is 100 chapters long. Let's see. Okay. Catching up on the chat here. Shout out to Tug for joining the channel. Jin, sorry you can't be here, but it's okay, buddy. All right. Let's see. That. So I'm excited for this one, primarily because I'm curious as to what Oda's going to do 100 chapters following just 967, which was, you know, an insane chapter. He laughed, right? So are we going to get more lore piece? Are we going to learn about Bonnie and Kumo, like I said, could happen? Maybe? I feel like we're going to spend more time with Einstein than we're going to spend with, you know, Drip God Shaka. So. Eric Veltri, what's up, man? Said they love the chapter. Jacob said, congrats on the 100th log in the journey. Yes. I mean, granted, you know, that's just the 100th log in the YouTube journey. We've been weekly since the chapters started with 3s. Maybe 2s, maybe the late 2s. I forget. Whatever the end of Skypiea was. Yeah, I guess it was the 2s, right? Because 300 is when he defeats Enel and rings the bell, right? I think. I might be off. But anyway. We're here. Our first stream was 997. So we can celebrate 100 chapter streams then. But I did 30 chapters of video only before I got into streaming. Okay. Chapter 1067. Punk Records. Alright, so we're going to explore Punk Records. That's fun. Okay, this is exciting. I put my headphones on, but I didn't start the OST. There we go. Now we're going. Now we're moving. Caesar versus Judge. Who will win? Well, Judge is top 5, right? I forget. Who are you again? Didn't Judge and Caesar already interact inside of Capone's body, though? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I know that, you know, we were in Capone's body and, you know, Judge had it out with Sanji, but Gangster Gastino was in there, wasn't he? Or did they never meet during Whole Cake and this is actually their reunion? Let's see. Catching up. Okay. All right. Page 1. What happened to your head? It used to be like a massive light bulb. I don't know if it's a light bulb. Savage. My man said, it was getting a tad too long, so I cut it. And then... Is that supposed to signify that he took the apple and then banged on his head like a drum and then his eyes started going like that? We're not talking about hair here. Yeah. As I recall, I was almost as tall as a giant when I met you. Jinbei said, I heard the rumors about it being big, but... That's what she said. Alright. Oda's doing that on purpose, too. It was like an air balloon. Well, that's because I ate the brain fruit? Nomi, Nomi, Nomi. Is that really the name of it? Now that's funny. I like that. Yeah. This is big news, by the way. Pardon me, I bit my tongue. I meant to say I'm a brainy human because I ate the brain fruit. It allows me to memorize an unlimited amount of knowledge. It makes my brain grow in size accordingly. That's wild. Having an unlimited data bank is a handy ability for a born genius like me. Now I have the largest brain in the world, and it continues to grow. Still? Did you put it somewhere? Of course he did. He put it in the other guys. That's awesome. Have you got tons of medical knowledge too, Dr. Vegapunk? Naturally. Whoa. Does that mean you're dumb now, old guy, because you cut your brain out? Don't write off a genius, you rascal. You see this apple here? It's an antenna. Interesting. Take a gander at the top of the island. Notice how it says Punk Records under the giant egg? That's the hangar where I keep my brain. Who was it last week that suggested that the island actually was his brain? Because we were all writing that off. I was like, it's not totally out of the realm of Oda to do it, but I was like, I don't know. Oda did it. Someone did suggest this. There's no harm in me being away from it since my antenna can pick up the brain waves. You met a little girl earlier who called herself Vegapunk, right? It's one of my clones. There are 6 on the island. You're a ninja? Nin nin. Each one is a facet of myself and an expert of their own key field of study. You'd get my full personality if you combine them, but they can get 6 times the work done apart. What the? Each of them connects to Punk Records once a day to synchronize our memories and knowledge. Since their dispositions and responsibilities are so different, the wealth of their experience is that much greater. Alright. This is exactly, what I expected. Ian Paulo de Torres says that he was the one saying that. All right. Maxo said, how is he not always biting his tongue? It's funny. Let's see. You all share the same brain. I find it difficult to wrap my head around that. Just think of it as sharing the same library. If only I could let everyone in the world connect to my brain, all of humanity would have access to my knowledge. Then, if the population of the world went on to update punk records themselves, it'd create a sea of information that'd surpass what my brain can accomplish alone. Humanity would share one mind. So I'd be able to study medicine from all over the world? Naturally. Sonotori. Chopper's flying. But if you let everyone share their conflicting ideologies, wouldn't all of that bias lead to trouble? You sure are a sharp one, Knight of the Sea, but science would never progress if you spent all day worrying about that stuff. Peh, 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 peh. Alright, so we have Vegapunk's laugh. That's your problem, Vegapunk. You shrug off sacrifices in the name of progress. That's why Dad's been turned into a heartless weapon. Come on, let's get the lore here. Let's go, let's go. She pulled out the lightsaber. Wow, stop it, Bonnie. That beam saber is defective. Give it a rest. We know it cuts well enough. I tested it earlier. Turn my dad back to normal. You even think about saying no. Don't be so hasty, Bonnie. Killing him would make you a lot of enemies. Hit the off switch, Bonnie. I like this. I like this. That beam attracts a ludicrous number of bugs. Oh, that's why it's defective. This must be Bonnie's, like, weakness or thing. She's scared of bugs or something. Check it out, Bonnie. A giant stag beetle. Call back to Jaya. Luffy's love of beetles. This isn't the time for beetles. Look at her, she fainted. Oh, no, Oda, come on. Come on. She better get back up. If this is Oda's way to, like, prevent us from learning things about Kuma right now, I am upset. Oh, boy. Alright. Ah, that makes perfect sense. Of course Bonnie wants me dead. It's ironic that one of my many failures saved me. Speaking of which, you guys were recently in Wano, correct? You wouldn't happen to know whether a dragon just like Kaido really appeared there. Well, you're talking about Momo. I suppose he ate the defective fruit I left on Punk Hazard. Defective? What do you mean? That was an artificial Deva fruit I synthesized. I made it after 20 years of researching Kaido's lineage factor. It cost countless resources, but I couldn't quite get it right. Is this where we find out that Vegapunk's upset because it was pink, and that's why it's defective? Ah, so that's why he's the same as Kaido. But it worked out just fine. He can still spit fire, and he's super strong. He's the guardian deity of Wano now. He really made that? Awesome. And his color? Pink. You see, another monumental failure. This man bangs his head into the ground. What's wrong with that? Get it, he's a genius and a perfectionist. Alright, I'm gonna take that.
Another one.
Been saying that for years. That the reason it's a failure is because it's pink. What about this robot? Made it too, right, old man? Make a move. I'm afraid you're mistaken. This is the legendary Iron Giant. Shout out to Vin Diesel. He was the voice of Iron Giant. That attacked the holy land of Marijoa about 200 years ago. 200? $200 ago? This might be the first time we're hearing about anything from 200 years ago. Because everything with Nolan was 400 years ago. And I thought the idea of this was going to be that it was from the Void Century. Alright. Yes, but it was built over 900 years ago. So there were other people that have challenged the world government over the years. This is big news. This is big news. This is large information. Let's see. Give me a second here, guys. Its objective remains unknown. I heard it ran out of power before it could cause any casualties. Ugh. Either way, sure, the scientists of the time were absolutely flabbergasted. Such advanced technology would have seemed totally alien to them. None of them could tell where it came from or what it was trying to do. It seems the world government ordered its destruction, but the scientists of the time couldn't help their curiosity. Alright, so that means that Vegapunk... Well, actually, I mean, it's vague enough. I was going to say that this is confirmation that Vegapunk isn't, hundreds of years old. But we got that in the last chapter anyway, when it gave us his actual age. So let's see. That's why they hid it here, to be passed down without the government's knowledge. Acting against the government. Good job on finding this place from the town. The entrance should look like a wall. We just stumbled here since we were all old and senile. Yeah, we were plain old laws out here with the puns. That's a shame. 200 years ago. That's around the time the Fishman rights movement started to gain ground. Okay. Let's see. It's interesting. Okay. We're getting some interesting timeline things here. Alright. So Shaka is showing them the robot. That's what Shaka's trying to do. Robin is the one that's talking about the Fishman rights movement. You're saying that robot climbed the red line. Most likely. Frankie's going to analyze this robot. It's going to be part of his mech. Yep, here's Shaka saying, I created Vega Force 1 based on what I learned from it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Alright. But I lacked the scientific prowess to reverse engineer every aspect of it. It's difficult to believe that this mechanized soldier was made over 900 years ago. Something even you couldn't recreate? Its power source. In the past, they had a power source that would upend our modern ideas of what's possible. Okay. This is probably going to tie into either the Lunarians or Luffy and the Nika fruit. Well, at any rate, it's good to know Luffy and the others are okay. Who's that girl, though? Is it Usopp that knows who Bonnie is? That's Jewelry Bonnie. She's a pirate. I thought the one we saw before was a little girl. If that's Usopp, look at Usopp knowing other pirates. I would have expected Robin to, give a line like that. Anyway, and the way Vegapunk's head works is crazy. I truly did a terrible thing to Bonnie. Yeah. You should get down and beg her to forgive you, old man. You young dolt, like you know anything about it. There's something I have to give her. Regardless, I feel like fate brought you here today, Straw Hat Luffy. Here we go, come on. We've got the white background. Please, can you take me away from Egghead? My man joining the crew?
Yes, science!
Okay.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
So we cut away here. This is Cypher Pole, requesting entry to Egghead Port. What poorly trained pets. Okay, we've got Stussy, Lucci, Kaku. Kaku's mask has a beard on it. Not a fan. I love that Hattori has a mask. We have the Seraphim Kuma. Okay. Reports indicate that Jewelry Bonnie was spotted making her way here too. That pest keeps slipping away from us. She served her purpose. Let's just terminate her on sight. She's served her purpose. Okay, we're gonna be talking about that for sure. Shaka! There's a government ship. It'd be bad if they found us harboring pirates. What does CP0 want with us? And why did they bring Rob Lucci? Who's saying that? I say we just hand the riffraff over. After all, that Lucci fellow is an assassin, right? What? Rob Lucci? Hey, hurry up and give us our legs back. That guy's still around. You can't let him in. Don't you worry, Robin. I'll protect you no matter how many times he comes back. Yeah, you let him know, Sanji. You let him know. Kaka says, tell them to hand over the Seraphim and leave. We're declining their request at dock. I doubt agents of the world government will respond well to that, so prepare for battle. Alright, things are getting spicy here. And it's getting even spicier. Okay. Kamabaka Kingdom. Alright. Yes. Yes. It's about to get spicy! Bragging. Kuma's acting weird. But wait, we're trying to repair you. What's wrong? Is he still being controlled by the Navy? We've got Inazuma, Bello Betty, Unnamed Revolutionary number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Karasu. Kuma, where are you going? You're in no state to be moving like that. Right? His, like, intestines seem to be... Oh no, he's dragging a machine. You're still not yourself. What's wrong with him? I don't know. Kuma, come back. Talk to us, Kuma. Where do you want to go so bad? Stay with us. We're not done fighting. The Revolutionary Army is just getting started. A mad dash to where? Kuma must be linked with the Seraphim Kuma, and he just heard that report on Bonnie. So he wants to get to Egghead to protect Bonnie. There's got to be some part of him that's still in there. Maybe he'll start slapping some of the Revolutionary Army members over there. That'd be interesting. What a weird page for grayish to color. Like, out of all of the pages, that's not really the one there. See, we got any memes? We got anything here? All right, let's get into this. Vegapunk for Nakama, right? Okay. Barry said Vegapunk is either dying here or coming to Elbaf. Yeah. Merch Hunter Ricky said, take that apple off your head, Vegapunk. Here's your new straw hat.
Another one.
Taketaro said, maybe Vegapunk does launch the VegaNet trademark as a last stand before his assassination, going into hiding to aid the massive world revolution. So you're suggesting that Vegapunk is going to unite the world with, or like send out the information to everybody in the world? I mean, I think there's something to that, right? Because it's going to be a gigantic uprising at the end. Everybody's got to learn the true history. So it may be a situation where once they figure out the true history, it's going to be, Vegapunk is going to be able to send it out to everybody in some way or another. Like take control of all video snails and stuff like that, so everybody learns the truth. There's going to be something like that. There's a reason we're learning about Vegapunk's dream, right? To connect with everybody. How crazy would it be if Vegapunk actually does join the crew? Like, oh, wow. There might be something to, there might actually be something to that. Ace2532 said Vegapunk leaves with the crew. There's two options in my mind, Elbaf or wherever Dragon is. Either option will be hype, though I would rather have Elbaf be our next stop. Oh, for sure. For sure. Reunion with Saul, everything. That's what we're setting up here. Definitely setting that up. Let's see. Here. Maxo thinks whatever source is fueling Uranus is probably either what Vegapunk is looking for or some super inhumane workaround. Maybe, I mean, my big thing is still that whatever like happened to Lucia, it was because they got a hold of what they needed to get a hold of. Because if they had that 20 years ago, you know, well, not whatever the timeline is, they would have used it at O'Hara. 22 years ago, right? Let's see. Giovanni said if CP0 is our main bad guy, then Egghead is like 30% over. See, I don't think that Cypher Pole is the main bad guy. What's going to happen is they're going to get the report that Shaka just denied Cypher Pole entrance. Cypher Pole is going to report back to Marijoa, and then they're going to start sending some admirals that way. Something. Like, Kizaru needs to be involved, Sentamaru, and Fujitora. So, we need them in this arc. And Smoker makes sense as well.
Savage.
Phil said he mentioned 6 clones on the island. So, Kid Vegapunk clone confirmed. Eustace Kid? You're talking about Eustace Kid? But he's not. We got a little bit of lag there, but we're back. Let's see here. Shin jumped in to say Vegapunk is giving Bonnie Kuma's remote control, or Mandy. Shin, I thought you had things you gotta do, man. But I appreciate you jumping in. Let's see. Manuel said Robin will kick Lucci's ass.
Another one.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Very motivated. Thank you. Said, I think Vegapunk wants to share his knowledge with the world, but he knows he's going to die soon. I think the Straw Hats are going to be the ones to inherit his will and get the info out to the world. That's a good point. That's a good point. You know, if Vegapunk is able to impart
another one.
Everything to Frankie and give Frankie like the knowledge that he needs, at the end of the story, he may be, you know, the carrier of Vegapunk's will and the one that like sends the message out using his tech. So I could see that. Vegapunk might be our tag-along for this saga. Ramon Avila said Vega is clearly not a good guy. He will turn on the Straw Hats. He represents easy knowledge, which usually leads to bad outcomes. He's in juxtaposition with good knowledge of O'Hara. I don't think that Vegapunk is a bad guy. I don't think it. It's just he's his loyalty is whoever's got money. That's it. Does it make him bad? It just sort of makes him neutral. But he may feel like he's at the end of his days, so he wants to do good. And he missed his opportunity to do it with Dragon, although albeit it seemed like they were working together in some respect, but we'll have to learn more. Emil Diaz, member for 19 months, Said, we get a 7th Seraph, Vega on the crew. The rest die. A 7th Seraphim. So you think that Vegapunk made a Seraphim of himself? Is that what you're saying? That'd be wild. Chrissy said, I would love to see Sogeking return with the return of Cypher Pole. Bring it on. Bring it on. You know, I mean, the whole idea is that he's supposed to have grown out of the Sogeking, you know, moniker and everything like that. But what I would love is if, when he runs into Cypher Pole, they address him only as Sogeking. I think that that's what, you know, we're going to see. Because that's all they know him as. I want Sogeking back, but I you know, I love this. Yo. My guy Ty. W's for the boy. I crashed the stream, but we're back. My man Ty said, sorry I'm late to the 100th cap. So it's Vegapunk Records, not Vegapunk Records music style. Right. As in like an archive of data, yeah. Also, there should be no way Vegapunk dies with this Yonko crew here. Sub Savage crew. I was on board with Vegapunk dying. And then, you know, all it takes is one chapter for Oda to, you know, flip that. I like this. I like this development. I like this a lot. And yes, we are here. The 100th chapter with the Savage crew. Not the 100 stream, but it might be. But it's not the 100 chapter stream. Let's see. My guy AJ. W's in the chat for AJ. Super chatted. 50 to say what's up to Ty. And then Titus said, could the huge power source from 900 years ago be Enel's fruit? Like, how was he able to power up that moon city? I mean, that's possible. That's possible. Or could it be a combination of several things? That's what would make it, you know, more interesting and more difficult. Like, what if you needed the Gorogoro no Mi, the Maramara no Mi, and the Nika fruit, and like maybe a whole bunch of different elements, all, you know, crossing their streams, and that's what gives you the power. You know, you just Captain Planet this thing together. Usopp can be Mati. Jonathan Arcade called Vegapunk the new Vivi. I want Vivi to be the new Vivi. Let's get Vivi back. Chad Ocho, member for 18 months, said 200 years ago, Fishman got declassified as fish. Chapter 620. I'm going to go back to 620. I want to see this. I'm looking at chapter 620 right now. It is not the Otahime flashback. So maybe it was a seemingly thrown away line. Oh, this was the chapter where Jinbei and Nami address Arlong. Hachi says this. All right. We all idolize that place. Talking about Savati Park. I'm not saying this to earn your forgiveness, Nami. Arlong hated humans bitterly, resented them all above else. And what we did was truly wrong, but still, you know, my man's trying to justify homicide here. Up until 200 years ago, like, hey, look, sorry, I know we killed your mom, but look, up until 200 years ago, fishmen and merfolk were officially considered types of fish. Now, that's rough. Then, 200 years ago,
Another
the
one.
Yugu Kingdom became part of the world government. So that's what it was. 200 years ago is when Fishman Island got recognized and got a placement at the table for the Reverie. The king was granted a place on the Reverie World Council, and we took the first steps towards peace with humanity, but the humans never stopped hating us. The most horrible period that I can remember in my life was the beginning of the Great Pirate Age. The terror caused by the human pirates running rampant on this island stays with me even to this day. The man who freed our kind from that terror was none other than the late Whitebeard. Whitebeard says that this is his territory, but the hatred that the humans felt towards our kind lived on. You all must have witnessed the truth for yourselves on the archipelago. And Jinbei says, and so it was that the closer one looked to the central spheres of government who held sway over the human-fishman relations, the deeper set were the discriminatory prejudices that could be found among them. It was in the midst of this seemingly hopeless situation that two individuals rose up and made their valiant attempts to change the course of history. So the interesting thing that we need to find out and discover here is whether or not this attack on Marijoa with this robot had anything to do, which I think it needs to, the Fishman oppression. Could it have been a situation where it was actually a Fishman scientist that got that thing up and running, and it was a threat? As in, like, you're going to give us a seat at the table. We're tired of being disrespected. This is a warning. And then they were like, whoa, they unearthed, because it may have been at the bottom of the sea. I think we're getting to somewhere here. This thing may have been at the bottom of the sea. Fishman found it, got it back working, and used it as a threat against the world government. And then when they said that, when they actually, gave them some rights, that's when the Fishman backed off. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? LJ916 said, could the Iron Giant run on a heat source like the sun? Mentioned earlier, maybe the Fishman did something to turn that power source off before it could fully attack 200 years ago. Could be a situation where it was a heat source, and then Fishman using water or something along that lines actually stopped it. And then because they saved everyone, that's when they were like, okay, we'll give you some rights. Either way, it's all messed up. I don't like any of it. Let's see. Let's see. Yamil said, if Cypherpole destroys Punk Records, big target, does Vegapunk die? That's interesting, because if there are parts of his brain that is also the island, like literally, that could be a thing where it's like you just have a knife to like one piece of the brain, and if it all, gets, affects it, possibility here. Caleb Brown, member for 5 months, said, Vegapunk coming to Elbath, we got to meet Kid there too. Well, I've already been saying Kid's over there. So, that's what I want. I want Kid to be the villain of Elbath. I think that would be fun. Ramona Villa said 200 years ago was also the time that the St. Brice, the ship that crashed in front of the Straw Hats at Jaya, was heading to Skypiea. Ah, yes. Interesting. If Oda actually makes the St. Brice relevant, I'm going to lose it. Because that's the kind of stuff I love. I love that. Love it. My guy Brandon King said, Oda is so big-brained with Vegapunk's Devil Fruit. He will explain devil fruits to us, and his devil fruit's name includes the suffix for all fruits, no me. Yeah. I loved it. That was one of my favorite parts of the chapter for sure. The no me, no me, no me. I think Vegapunk gets away with them. There's no reason to say it and then not have it happen. And then he just continues to lore drop, and that's one of the ways that Oda finishes the story quickly. I think it's going to step on a little bit of Robin's character, but it can also enhance Robin's character in a certain way. Catching up. Yamil said maybe each race had 1 or 2 Iron Giant Sentinels. Each race? I don't know. But, maybe there's just a bunch of them on the sea floor somewhere. Because, hey, they really like throwing things into the water, right? Books, oh man, yeah. I think that's it. The robot was underwater. Juan Carlos said the fishermen worship the sun for a reason. Yep. Latigan responded to my thing saying that I think Vegapunk is actually going to go on the ship. And he said, that's what we said about Yamato, though. Yeah, I feel like this is different, though. This is different. Vegapunk is a character that actually has weight in the story. Yamato didn't contribute anything. Savage. Grai just got here. It's ironic that one of my failures saved me. Line from Vegapunk has me convinced one of his successes might kill him. Lilith's kills the main body. Cliche trope for the scientist. If anyone is going to kill him, yes, it is Lilith. Because Lilith is the one that is actively... I mean, they're called evil, right? I've been saying if there was going to be a traitor, it's going to be Lilith. You're on the money there, Grai. Like, Lilith could be the secret villain of the arc. First person we meet. Yeah, it all lines up. Well, let's see. Brandon King said, I just realized maybe Kuma senses that Vegapunk is in danger. Perhaps Vegapunk put a prime directive to protect its owner in case of danger, and Kuma is coming to save him. That's a good that's a good read as well. Barry said, would she really be secret if evil is in the name? Well, it depends on the translation, because, I mean, I've seen some call it evil, but then it's translated as wrath as well. So it's only evil to some, and, like, the way that you read it. So, I don't know. Emil said Shaka joins, the rest don't. I mean, I'll take Shaka. I'll take the drip god. Let's see. LJ said, I could be wrong, but it does look like maybe Cypherpole Zero or Seraphim Kuma destroyed one of Vegapunk's huge sea emperors at the entrance. I think that that's the idea. Which, you know, is a feat and should be considered as such. Let's see here. Shout out to the 600 people in here still. I want to go back to that Cypherpole page. All right. Yeah. So one of them is defeated. The one that looks like a steampunk reindeer chopper. But they're not even sweating, so were they able to kill it with a cannonball? Because that's kind of crazy. Because if they just did like a flying Shigan or something, like, that's wild. We also don't know if Stussy has a power or not. Reports indicate that Jewelry Bonnie was spotted making her way here too. That pest keeps slipping away from us. She served her purpose. Let's terminate her on sight. See, I think that all of the Kumas are linked. In one way or another. And I think that the Seraphim Kuma that is with them, like, Vegapunk has to have some sort of a way to either hear or see through him and, you know what's going on. Vegapunk wants knowledge, so he's definitely going to, be able to listen in and track these things. He doesn't want to play his card and let them know that he can maybe remote control them as well, which I do think is on the table. But this is why, one, he knows that they're coming to kill him, and then now the Kuma at Kamabaka knows that they're going to kill Jewelry Bonnie as well. So there's that. And it's because of Bonnie. I like the read that we had that, you know, maybe it's because they know that Vegapunk's life is in danger. But Vegapunk has known that his life was in danger for a few chapters now, which means that Kuma should have sprung into action immediately. He's only springing into action after learning about Bonnie. So it's not entirely impossible that it is the Vegapunk read, but I think it's this Bonnie thing, and I think that Oda's trying to play on the as a father of a daughter himself. He's trying to put his own just life into Kuma, and his own relationship between him and his daughter probably into this as well. Subconsciously. Or maybe consciously. I don't know. Either way, he's doing it that way. Lilith is definitely going to betray them, though, because Lilith just wants to hand them over.
Savage.
I'm going to be a little disappointed if Kuma does, like, warp himself over to Egghead, and then he has a conversation with Luffy. Because the last thing he says to Luffy is, "We're never going to see each other again," and I like that. I want that to be true. I want the idea is that he's so far gone that even if he does meet Luffy, he's a different person. But then again, I mean, they were at Marineford together too, so I guess it's already happened. Whatever. Jonathan RK, appreciate it, said, if hypothetically the Iron Giant ran on the same power source as the ancient weapons, all ancient tech, let's remember that Vegapunk is linking with the guy who has seen the blueprints for Pluton. So are people thinking that this Iron Giant is one of the ancient weapons? Because the thing is that the Gorosei and Emus should know about the ancient weapons, and they should know about Vega Force 1, and if they've seen Vega Force 1, they need to put 2 and 2 together that, hey, this is that. And if you're making that, then you're recreating the ancient weapons, so we need to kill you. There's a line of thinking there. Got some theory fodder here. Lucy B's out of here. Appreciate you dropping by as always. And then all the emojis. Love to see it. Mental said it would be interesting if Lilith killed Shaka for rejecting Cypher Pole's entry, while real Vegapunk still gets away with the Straw Hats. Oof. I don't know. Shaka's the boy. Like, I don't want Shaka dying at all. That's my guy. Flynn House said he caught a stream. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Pablo Lowe said, I hope we get to see a new record speed feat from Kuma propelling himself across islands to get to Egghead. I wonder if the 2-day thing doesn't necessarily apply to him, though. Let's see. What about Uranus being the ancient robot? See, I think that Uranus has to be something different. And I think it has to be something related to the sky, which is why whatever caused the everything in Lulusia, that's got to be Uranus to me. So I don't, even though this is tech that is eluding Vegapunk, that he, you know, I mean, like, that alone puts it on the pedestal of, yeah, ancient weapon, right? But I can't wrap my own headcanon around this robot being an ancient weapon. And if it is, fine, you know, we will, you know, restructure the headcanon. But right now, we only know for certain one ancient weapon, Shirahoshi. And she controls Sea Kings, also living. So it is a person who controls living things. So it only it stands to say that everything has to be the same way. So Pluton needs a person like Shirahoshi to control something that is also alive. And when they referred to Pluton in Wano, they refer to it as something that is sleeping, indicating that it is alive. The third thing, and you know, that's probably something for the land. Like Pluton is the land king, the same way we've got the sand kings, and then there's got to be a sky king and someone to control that. And it's possibly, you know, if Vivi's captured, it could be that, and that's what Imu needed Vivi for. And that's how we got Lulusia. Emil Diaz said, Kuma could die at Egghead, Paw Paw, new user soon. We gonna get that Vivi with the Paw Paw? Kuma dying is very, very much on the table. And I could see it being a, you know, sacrifice play to save Bonnie, and then he falls into a vat of molten steel, and as he's falling down into the molten steel, Kuma just goes like this. Oda's a Terminator head. He's a Terminator fan. It's gonna happen. Oh god. Uranus is the Arc Maxim powered by Enel's fruit. I mean, that's interesting, you know, considering that it did all look like streams of electricity like Enel. Could Enel be working with Imu? Who knows? Emil said kill Pythagoras instead. Yeah. I don't think anybody's gonna cry over Pythagoras. Baby Pluto said that needs to get added for the theory review video. Godspeed, Barry. Godspeed. Dave on Schoolboy Beat said, "Wouldn't it be funny if the power source from the ancient kingdom was cola?" I want to understand how Frankie was already like
Savage.
just jocking Vegapunk's complete style before even studying Vegapunk. Numbering the ships, the stars, like, was Frankie, like idolizing him seriously as a child and like knew some things about him? Or did he not learn about him until later on? Because it's so apparent in their style. There needs to be some sort of relation or something. Mental said that they would be upset if Pythagoras died. Oscar Cruz said, "Seeing Oda draw a dragon with his mouth open like that was jarring for me. Stoic Dragon is showing more sides of himself." Yeah, we actually got to see a little bit of emotion out of Dragon. Yeah. Shout out to Robson for the sub. Here. Steve said, "I feel like the world government discovered the Triforce of the ancient kingdom and split it up. One to control the living, one to control machinations, golems, tech, one to control the weather." What do you mean by one to control the living? Because I assume you're talking about the Sea Kings at that point. Control them by fear, like don't go in the water because these things exist. Catching up. So, what do we think this line about Bonnie means, though? Do we think that Bonnie, aged someone down, used her power? Because, I mean, she served her purpose. Ainu said that when she got free, it sent a shiver down his spine at the end of the first half of the series, right after Marineford, when Blackbeard had her captured and Akainu shows up. "You escaping sent a shiver down my spine. Why?" What were we using Bonnie's fruit for? I mean, and we've already, talked about, aging Emu, aging down the Gorsei. Is there something else that we're missing here that Bonnie's power could be used on?
Pay my taxes. Trust me, you can track it.
Because I don't know if it's going to be that obvious. But maybe it is, and, it usually is. I mean, look at the reveal in this chapter that the reason it's a failure is because it's pink. Which we knew. Because sometimes it is the obvious stuff. Oh, my guy. My guy, Ty. W's in the chat. Big dubs. Big dubs. Big dubs. My man said, what kind of connections do you think there could be between this ancient society and the Fishman AACP? Also, did I miss the memo when Kamabaka turned from a queendom to a kingdom? You know, I did notice that on my read. I was like, I kind of stopped for a second. I'm like, Kamabaka kingdom? I'm pretty sure this is a queendom. Pretty sure that's the whole point. I seriously, like, I think that this whole attack on Marijoa was the Fishman and AACP. Like, they found the robots at the bottom of the robot at the bottom of the sea. Figured out how to get that thing running.
Savage.
Made it climb the red line, and then used it as a threat to, you know, get into the good graces. Or, alternatively, someone else did. You know, maybe it was a rogue group of fishermen that were doing it, and then there were some good fishermen, you know, that were like, hold on, let's not kill innocent people even though they're killing us. Stop the robot because they knew what the power source was, whether it was power of the sun, fire, or whatever, and then drowned it out with some water, and then was like, yeah, we saved you guys, even though we did terrorize you guys at the same time. Well, they terrorized you, but we saved you. Hey, by the way, what's up with some rights? And then they got recognized. Whatever it is, this is tied to the fisherman. Gry said, Bonnie's awakening can de-age objects, set them back to a previous state. Probably, I mean, that's the only other thing that we can, you know, that we can think. Like, was she needed for the giant straw hat? Was she needed for something else? Did she maybe get Uranus back up and running somehow? And because of her contributions, she served her purpose so that they could take out Lelucia. I don't know. There's a bigger thing at play here. Emil said Bonnie was a hostage to control Kuma. Yeah, so they already got Kuma. They got the Seraphim Kuma. They have everything that they needed. That's a very large possibility as well.
Savage.
See, Gio is saying what my issue is with this whole de-aging thing, because we've already seen the Gorosei, right? And Giovanni says it's definitely age-related, but why not keep the Gorosei at, you know, a peak age of, he's saying 40 to 50, but like get them back in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, whatever. Not necessarily the 50s. Like, these guys are like, you know, some of them look like they're pushing 80, 90, you know, all of that. So Ollie P, Randy, do you think that giant robot was Joy Boy and had the Nika fruit? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm on that, but I think that it's got to have some sort of connection and correlation. Michael Hensley, we did talk about this earlier. 200 years ago, the Briss pirates went to Sky Island. They're the ones who drew the map. Also, notice the Jaya connection with the Beetle. I did mention the Jaya connection with the Beetle. We did talk about the Brisk Pirates, and I would love for that to actually, like, mean something. Like a Brisk Pirates flashback. Woo! Oh, that would be peak fiction right there. Because let me tell you what I love about Oda. Okay? And why last chapter was the best post-time skip twist for me. Because it related to something in the pre-time skip. Like, Raizo is safe is cool, legendary, right? But it's isolated within that arc. So it's like a quick thing. You read a couple of chapters and then there was like this massive, like really great twist within the span of just a few chapters. Whereas learning that Saul is alive and the Librarian of Ohara and the magnet drawing us to Elbaf, correlating to something from 15, 16 years ago, that's Goda. He used to do that stuff all the time pre-time skip. You know, like chapter 500, seeing Rayleigh and then going back to like chapter 19 and seeing that there was someone with the design of Rayleigh with the same beard, like talking to Shanks and Buggy, and it's like, this guy. So that's what I love. So if we get something about the Brisk Pirates, and we can go back to chapter, what is it, 220 something, 218, 219 maybe. It's got to be somewhere around there. Let's see if I'm right. I'm going to try 219. Yep, 219 is the map of Sky Island. But the action, and it is when they're salvaging it. There's Masura, and then chapter 220, Ocean Floor Stroll. Yep, that's when they're looking at all of it. You know, sometimes I'll just be like looking for panels, and I'll sit here, and I'll be like, it's got to be this, and then the first chapter I type in ends up being exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm just like, and I don't like just have it offhand. Like I'll sit there for a second and I'll just kind of like think, and I'll be like, it's got to be here. See, like I would love this, right? So I'm looking at chapter 220 right now, and they're in the ship, and then there's that picture of a woman that Sanji's looking through, and people have, you know, analyzed this panel to be like, you know, maybe it made him think of his mom or something, but it could be that he's just empathetic of, you know, that, hey, this person is actually dead. But it's a photo of a woman with a spear through it. If we get a Brisk Pirates flashback and this character is like at the front of the, you know, the flashback or something like that, that would just, it's just Goda. It's just Goda. Scent Bliss, you know, and then we can look at things like there's another thing on there's like this shirt that is stabbed to the wall as well. And maybe we see someone that is literally wearing that shirt. And then it becomes this thing of, why did the Bliss Pirates die? Who is responsible for their death? And is it because they got too close to something? And then their ship was just sent, you know, to go off and ride the White Sea forever, but then it eventually just, you know, it landed. It landed somewhere. Is there something special about Skypiea that the world government didn't want to find? They didn't want them to get that map. I mean, at which point just burn the map, right? Don't let it stay on a ship. But that was fun looking at that chapter. Catching up. LJ said maybe Bonnie can bring powerful older characters back to their prime fighting age, therefore scaring the government. I mean, if they think that that's their prime fighting age, you know, hey, more power to them. But, you know, I have more respect for the guy that, you know, definitely looks like he's in his late 40s or 50s. Sanji's dad, as they called him many years ago. Let's see. Catching back up. Gio said, well, Randy, 40 to 50, isn't that the peak age in One Piece, said Biota. I think he did say that somewhere. Gio said Ty's getting his steps in today. Man keeps getting caught. He needs some Vegapunk clones. Multiplicity, Michael Keaton. Ty said my Lilith would be savage. Oh, man. Basic Civilist in the chat said, Randy just read the chapter. We in here. Dave on, Schoolboy Beat said, imagine a young Rayleigh in today's story. I mean, he'd be putting some numbers up. I don't think he'd be going for Pirate King. I don't think that that's necessarily his, like, MO. He's just chilling. Like, man knows the true history and everything, and he's just like, yeah, you know what? This whole world is, like, really screwed up, but I'm just gonna chill on this archipelago with my girl.
Savage.
So if he was young and still around, I don't think it would be all that different. Shout out to my guy, Jonathan RK. Appreciate you. Said, what if Maxim is a do-it-yourself Uranus that Enel built based on illustrations that he had found on Burka? Interesting. The real one is similar, but much larger. Works in my headcanon that the ancient kingdom was formed by the Moon people after they went to the Blue Sea. I mean, I'm okay with that. I still want them all to be living things. Like, if Pluton is actually a ship, like, and not a living thing, and I mean, Zunisha is a living thing that could be considered a ship, because it carries things, but it's just, why would one of the ancient weapons be someone's power to control Sea Kings and then not have the other three line up like that? Because if it's like, I'm just a fan of consistency. And that's why I can't break my headcanon on it, because it's just, okay, Shirahoshi, living thing, Sea Kings, living thing. Pluton, ship? What? It doesn't make any sense. Even if we had an arc about the blueprints and all of that, there needs to be something else that the blueprints have to be for something to counter that. So, I don't know. Good question. Cone Killer Confuser said, do I think that the Vegapunk clones can eat devil fruits too? Yes. I haven't considered any of them actually eating a devil fruit, but... Oh, wait. But if they have the brain of someone that already has eaten a devil fruit... Probably, though, because Vegapunk understands devil fruits. I mean, this man spliced Kizaru's laser into a million robots. So at the very least, all of his clones probably can, like, do pacifista-like things. Giovanni said, what is Vegapunk trying to give Bonnie? Probably a drive to give Kuma back his memories. Something like that. Kuma's backup mind. Or a message. A snail of some sort that has a recorded message from Kuma to his daughter. That could be it too. Everybody ready to get broken by that? Do I think that Kuma will teleport the Revolution Army to Egghead? I mean, I'd love that. Let's see. Izza said the Thai in chat is Mayweather the Flex God. The Thai Rangers. Everybody's talking about Thai's different things. Thai 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's this is hilarious. Geo said, so y'all know Randy reads through comments after stream too. Yeah, I do. When the stream is over, I go and I rewatch the part where I wasn't really looking at the chat to see what people were saying while I was reading. I go and I read the Discord to see what people were talking about while I was staying unspoiled. Yeah, I go and see what everybody's been talking about, you know, and then like vicariously imagine I was part of the conversation, but that's what this is for, because we're here now. Basic Syphilis 8 said, appreciate the super chat, said, Randy, here's my L on the DNA thing back when the Lil Mihawk popped up. I was not on board with everyone, but heck, I was definitely wrong. Much love, bro. Hey. Yeah. If you don't take a shot, you already lost. So you took a shot. That's better than nothing. You know? Hey, how many shots do I take a day here? Appreciate you. Who's Up Dono said, "Hey, Mr. Savage, there is always daytime at Ennie's lobby. Do you think it has an unnatural source of energy, which they stole from the ancient robot 200?" Ooh. That's interesting. I like that. Here. Emil named all of the ties. Tie 1, Pink. Tie 2, Panther. Tie 3, Lavish. Tie 4, Flex. Tie 5, Texas. Tie 6, sorry I'm late. The Tie Rangers. Well, if tie 1 is the Shaka, then that one needs to be Lavish, though. LJ said, "Is there a way to become a member?" There is. Next to the subscribe button is the join. There's also opt in when people do gift memberships. So there's a way for that too. Who do I think will fight Cypherpole? I mean, I would love to see. It depends on how many. It depends also. Are there more than just Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy, right? Because that's just 3 people, and we need more fights than that. Which is why I'm expecting other people to show up: Kizaru, Santamaru, Smoker, Fujitora. So there's a I think Oda will probably feel pressured to have a Luffy and Lucci rematch. But it would be pretty nice to see Luffy kind of take care of Lucci really fast, though. I think we need something like that. But the other thing too is, and I've been saying this for years, is that Cypherpole and the world government as a whole is the main villain of the Super Saga. So I don't think we're going to have our final fights with them here. I think that this is a bridge to set them up as a bigger villain later on. Especially if we find out that, Lucci is really that guy now, or something like that. Davon Schoolboy Beat said Punk Records is basically the internet. Yeah. And when they actually activate that and upload the Void history to the internet, ooh-wee. Yeah. Jacob, that's exactly what I'm saying. We need a Yonko flex from Luffy. We need a Yonko flex. That's why I wanted him to fight Jack and take him out real quick before beating Kaido, to show that he can take a commander down reasonably. Baby Pluto said, "I think that the Lulucia attack was first used where Ennie's lobby is, and caused the eternal daytime with the weapon." Yeah. Which is why the Gorosei is hesitant in using that every time. I mean, I'm digging the thinking. Do I think Stussy will have some kind of animal theme like the rest of Cypherpole did? Says Cone Killer. Well, Khalifa and Bluno kind of break that. I mean, Bluno, looked like a bull, with his hair, but Khalifa, I mean, she had the bubble sheep, but she didn't have a Zoan. So Stussy really, I hope that Stussy has a fruit, because it's always fun to see, whatever fruits Oda comes up with. But I don't necessarily, need it to be a Zoan, but it could be. Wonder what it would be. Maybe it's like a bird, and that's why she was like, buddy buddy with Big News, because they're both birds. I don't know. I'd like to see a penguin Zoan. I think that would just be funny. Lucci would have no idea what's going on if he fought Luffy again. He would expect all of this stuff, and then Luffy goes Gear 5 or Gear 4, and he's just like, whoa, you are not the same person from 2 years ago. Oh, that's interesting. But doubtful. But I like the thinking. Brandon said, perhaps Toki sent the robot forward from the Void Century with her 200 years ago, but had to abandon it. It was too big, it was using too much stamina. That's interesting. I mean, I'm down, but I'm probably gonna say unlikely though. Maxo says she's looking kind of owly. Ooh, an owl would be very... I like that. I like that. My guy Dan said that he thinks that she could be a panther. I was thinking about that, like another cat theme, but then I was like, I was literally gonna say panther, and then I was like, nah, I'm thinking more bird. Sorry about that, Usopp. Don't know, no worries. Let's see. What? This is so stupid. Steve said, I figured it out. Kaku is Pluton. Stussy and Lucci are Luffy's real mom and dad. Family reunion arc. No. No. Phantom Greyfire said, who is Lelucia? That's right. I don't know what that is. This name, I keep seeing it. I don't know. Maxo said, this is Toki's mech. I mean, hey, that'd be cool. Nico said, I imagine Lucci would also have a few new tricks up his sleeve now. Yeah, I imagine, but I mean, dude's not going Gear 5. Like, I mean, perhaps he's an awakened Zoan now or something. Like, but then people would be like, but Kaido's not awakened. Rob Lucci, the strongest creature in the world. Technically, Luffy's a Zoan, so he is the strongest creature in the world now. He stole that from Kaido. Stussie's a cougar, red light district. That would be funny, actually. Cone killer spitting. Fukaru was the Fukaru was the owl. That's true. His name was literally Owl. So but a snowy owl would be cool. So I think it's time to do the reread of the chapter, see if we see anything else that's new here. All right. So I didn't notice this on the first read, but behind Vegapunk on the first page, when it's like showing the real head and all of that, Luffy's just in the background, still using the floating shoes, which is funny. It's like they're all like talking about stuff, and as usual, Luffy doesn't care. Make sure that I can read the chat while I'm doing it. Okay. So, Vegapunk can store all knowledge, and he has access to it at any moment. His head is Google. If he reads it, it's there. Wonder if he'll be able to like download stuff into other people, like say he can just, I mean, this is like cheating to the end or whatever, but like just download into Chopper all of his medical knowledge, download into Frankie all of his, you know, like schematics, download into Usopp like his weaponry. Punk Records. Under the giant egg. That's the hangar where I keep my brain. So we're eventually going to have to go to Punk Records, which we're in the underground of Egghead. So there's a little more exploring to do. But there's the climax of this arc is probably going to happen there, and it's going to be someone attacking the brain. Because they may think that, you know, fighting all of the clones is irrelevant if they can just go to the brain and, you know, what remains of his brain, if they take it out, that's it. Got an antenna that picks up the brain waves of his brain. It's so ridiculous. Devon said it wouldn't be cheating compared to Emo's resources. Fair. I mean, we're going into the end game and they need everything that they can get, but... let's see. So they synchronize their memories into a computer, and then it all gets re-downloaded into the main Vegapunk. So they're all connected, but it would seem as though Vegapunk can't tap into each one. So if Lilith was deciding to sell them all out, main Vegapunk, Einstein over there, wouldn't know until Lilith decided to go and let Vegapunk see the thoughts. And I wonder if Lilith has been tampering with that for a little bit of time and has not been downloading their memories at all, or has been putting false memories into it. Randomly accessed memories. Let's see. But the interesting thing is that even though they have to sync their memories via the machine at Punk Records, they still all are connected with the same gut. So if York goes to the bathroom for him, they all feel that. So that's one thing that I'm pretty confused about. Because they should all be able to tap into each other's minds or you know, things like that, if they can also feel everything that York is doing. Big T100 said, is Oda dropping the ball? Or is the world supposed to be dumb? I don't think Oda's dropping the ball at all. This is my favorite arc in a long time. Already, like, I'm loving this. Let's see. I love it. Luffy has no idea what they're talking about. Jinbei's having a tough time trying to wrap him. Yeah, and that's also, you know, it's like, try to explain to someone, even in like, you know, in the 1800s, what the internet is. That's how they're acting. Phantom said, what would happen if the different Vegapunks stopped syncing up intentionally? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm feeling like, you know, they're if they have their own will and their own thoughts and everything like that, they may not want to sync because they don't want everybody to know what's going on with them. Just think of it as sharing the same library. If only I can let everyone in the world connect to my brain, all of humanity would have access to my knowledge. So this is important. This isn't just a throwaway thing. At some point, as far as I'm concerned, and I will die on this hill, this is how word gets out about the Void history. When they figure it out, they will be able to connect to everybody in the world and distribute that knowledge. So they're going to find out something. Something is going to be able to click for Vegapunk where he's going to figure out how to actually do that. Then if the population of the world went on to update punk records themselves, it would create a sea of information that would surpass what my brain can accomplish alone. This man is literally trying to create the internet. Humanity could share one mind. But if you let everyone share their conflicting ideologies, wouldn't that all that bias lead to trouble? Jinbei's over here talking about Twitter. Sure, a sharp one. Science would never progress if you spent all day worrying about that stuff. Yep. Bonnie's like, I don't care about your internet. You basically killed my dad. What's up? Prepare to die. My name is Jewelry Bonnie. You killed my father. Prepare to die. See. Nora said, Randy will have Oro Jackson vibes if Punk Records is on the Sunny, like the Big Egg. That's funny. Is Punk Records the Oro Jackson egg? Yeah, that wasn't the internet and film red. That was just like, just video snails picking up the message. So then Bonnie conveniently passes out so that Vegapunk isn't forced to give us any lore on Kuma, because Oda wants to hold on to that until the very... hold on to it as long as he possibly can. So essentially, Green Bull reported that he saw a dragon like Kaido. That got back to Vegapunk, and that's why he is asking about this, because of Green Bull. See, this is the conversation that I always wanted from Vegapunk about Momo's fruit, but I wanted it to be with Momo. So, I don't know. And I know I've talked about my theory that it being defective is only because it's pink. But, you know, and I would love to put that in the review, and, you know, but I don't remember at all. I've said it so many times, I wouldn't even know where to look for that one. Because it was such a throwaway theory that ended up being right. Let's see. But I couldn't get it quite right. Let's see. Stringo said, "Sup, Randy, dope chapter. You still think Luffy has a chance of getting captured by the Navy?" Of course not by Lucci. Dude is not even getting past Sanji and Zoro. I mean, we don't know that. It's all up to what Oda wants to do as far as, like, you know, trying to power scale here. I think it's... I like the idea of Luffy getting captured, and then everybody that he has saved over the course of the story coming to try and help him. Like, it's a way to flip everything for a very dramatic and emotional, like, and just very cathartic end of the series. But it's up to Oda whether he wants to go that route. Like, it's not necessarily I mean, there's some foreshadowing for it, but nothing like really concrete. It's more so just me thinking that it would be cool. Amir Farir said, Puma's brain in Pain Punk Records net. So in Punk Records, they think that that's where Kuma's brain would be. Potentially. I mean, if it's the records house, it might be storing all of that kind of stuff. Let's see. LJ916 said, doesn't it look like the Iron Giant is turned off and stabbed by his own spear that he had while attacking the city? Maybe another battle. I'm going to take a look at that when we get to that part on the reread. You know, we're doing our deeper dive this time right now. Okay, so I'm on the panel with the robot. The robot is impaled. Legendary Iron Giant that attacked the Holy Land of Marijoa 200 years ago. It's built over 900 years ago. Its objective remains unknown. Heard it ran out of power before it caused any casualties. And then we see it at Marijoa holding the spear. So it may have died. It may have been stopped by getting stabbed by its own spear. That's good. LJ, yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, that's probable. None of them could tell where it came from or what it was trying to do. I mean, Toki sending it into the future, you know, as like a failsafe or something, and finding out that it, you know, didn't amount to much. There's a possibility for that as well. But I think it's got to tie to the Fishman after, you know, getting that gem. So, world government ordered its destruction. Scientists at the time couldn't help their curiosity. This is also Oda showing how much of a fan he is of Terminator, because here's this robot that, you know, is coming from the future or the past or, you know, whatever, something with advanced technology, and the government is, you know, scientists can't help their curiosity. You know, this is exactly Terminator 2, where it's like they found because the Terminator was sent to Terminator 1 and parts of it were left at the end of Terminator 1 in that facility where Sarah Connor fights the Terminator. There were those pieces, the chip and the arm, went on to inspire Miles Dyson in Terminator 2 to advance the technology and essentially like even move up the timeline of Terminator 2. And then like it changed the course of history in that regard because they now had the technology and created this new timeline. So it's the same idea. You find this tech and it's like, well, this really should be destroyed, but scientists are just naturally curious. So this is just the Miles Dyson effect. So they found that place by accident. Then Shaka, who's known the Straw Hat crew for effectively 8 minutes, is like, hey guys, you want to see this thing from 900 years ago that just telling you about would get me killed? Come on, let's go and check this out. Devon, my guy, said, hold on, so the Pacifistas database must have been connected to Punk Records. See, that's what I'm saying. All of the Pacifistas have to be connected. So if Vegapunk decides, hey, I want to flip this switch, like, they should all turn on the government if needed. He's got to have a failsafe in there. Mark Creasy's in here. What's up, my guy? 200 years ago. That's around the time the Fisherman Rights movement started to gain ground. So you're saying that robot climbed the red line, most likely. See, but another thing too here is that Vegapunk starts talking about 200 years ago, tells the story of the attack on Marijoa, and then it cuts to Jinbei, and Jinbei's got a ... Then we go to the next page, Fisherman Rights Movement. Jinbei knows something about this. There is a correlation between this thing and the Fisherman Rights Movement. Then recreate the power source, the power of the sun in the palm of his hands. At any rate, it's good to know Luffy and the others are okay. Something I have to give her. Regardless, I feel like fate brought you here today. We wara no Luffy. Please, can you take me away from Egghead? So now the goal is protect Vegapunk. Protect all of the Vegapunks. The Straw Hats are probably going to become bodyguards for each one of them against Cypher Pole and, you know, Seraphim maybe. And this arc's going to get a little crazy. And if it's supposed to emulate Sabaody, then that means that we're going to be getting off the island in like a mad dash, which I'm okay with. Lilith is going to be the problem, though. Shaka is comfortable with dying, but Lilith is going to want to hold on to her life. And she'll do that by selling out the rest of them, not realizing that she probably can't live on her own without them. They really make Kuma look like a giant at the end. Like, how much taller is he than, you know, Karasu and the rest of these guys? Like, that's absurd. They really make him look like he is from Elbaf. It's a good chapter. It's more lore piece. We love to see it. Not as iconic as the previous one, but a solid follow-up. And I enjoyed spending time with Einstein, who may be our tag-along for the arc, who may be a potential crew member. Is it possible Fisher Tiger is still alive? No, we're not. We just brought Saul back. We're not bringing Fisher Tiger back. I mean, Fisher Tiger doesn't seem like the type of person that would idly wait for his time. You know, like Roger told Pedro, like everybody's got their own time. Fisher Tiger did what he needed to do, and in doing so, I think that he was responsible for a lot of many great things with his breakout. He freed a lot of people. He shook the world up. He turned it upside down for a little bit. I think he's also responsible for some fruits getting out into the world. The Opi Opi no Mi, resurfaced right after all of that. Shanks gets Luffy's fruit right after that. Did the world government actually get their hands on it for once? And then because of Fisher Tiger's uprising in Marijoa, it got back out into the world, and then they got it back, and then when they got it back, that's when Shanks intercepted it. And then there's just been this crazy game of back and forth with this fruit for 800 years, and now Luffy has it. I mean, there's possibilities for that. Fisher Tiger's will is inherited by Jinbei, so we don't need Fisher Tiger back because we have Jinbei. Anything that Fisher Tiger needed to do or accomplish, Jinbei can do that. Saul, on the other hand, the reason why that's a good fake out is because we're actually going to use the character. Pell was a bad fake out because he's done nothing. You can literally pull him out of any panel that he's been in since he returned, and it doesn't change the story. You can pull Pagaya out. It doesn't change the story. You can not now pull Saul out. Because when we deal with Saul, he's the only person that's going to have been able to do what he's doing. That's why I like it. Nico said, by the way, Easter egg, Luffy kept the beetle on his hat. I missed that. I'm going to look for that now. Oh, yeah, I see it. It's there when he says, we just stumbled here since we were all old and senile. That's funny. I like that. Guy's back. What's up, man? Let's see. Chad Ocho. Think Kuma could hear that Cypher Pole is after Bonnie through the Kuma Seraphim? Yep, that's what I mentioned much earlier in the stream. And I mentioned that a couple of streams ago when we first saw the Kuma Seraphim, that Vegapunk probably has a link with that Kuma, and that all of the Kumas probably have a link. And that's how Vegapunk knows that they're after him as well, because he's getting his intel from the Seraphim. Gio, is that fact? Kuma's 22 feet tall? How tall is Kuma? Because that's outrageous. Tristan Polk said, happy 100th chapter anniversary, Randy. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Tristan. It's been a pleasure for me to be here with all of you for 100 chapters. Who's exposing my location to my boss? That's what Ty said. Hey, they're monitoring the stream. All right? They see when you say I'm back. They see it. Ty's boss is connected to Vega Records. Giants are 20 meters. Kuma's 6 meters. So he's bigger than standard human, like Luffy, but he's no giant. Yeah. Jin said Vegapunk is going to die in Elbaf. It'll be a hard 2.0 all over again. It's all dying again. Books burn this time. The books can burn as long as they've got all of the information out of the books. That's the thing. When Robin, learns about everything, then that's when it all can happen. Mark said Saul is actually useful to the future since we know he has the library of Ohara. Yep. Jinbei could have been told by Fisher Tiger about the giant robot, possibly. Maybe, yeah. Or learned about, what happened with it. While he was in Marijoa, someone else was, mentioning about it. I mean, maybe. Mark said it's been an honor, Captain, and will continue to be so. Salute emoji. My guy. Geo-spitting, Jinbei was a royal guard for the Ryugu Kingdom, so maybe he knows. Yeah, he might have learned something from Neptune. Neptune, above all else, would be the one to know. So, that's the kind of information that is definitely getting passed down. Oh yeah, 1068 spoiler time. I haven't done that yet. Where do we go from here? So now that we have reread the chapter, we can kind of figure things out. All right. Who's next week's Theory for Theory? Also, that's gonna be tough, right? Because Thanksgiving is gonna be Thursday. And a lot of the guests, that I would reach out to might be out of town or doing family things. And a lot of you might be doing family things still on Friday of next week. So maybe I do the stream on the weekend? I don't know. We open a poll up for that. Let's see. Praxis said, do I have a Yamato figure? I do. It's... right here. Next to Kaido. See. So everybody can vote. Vote. Next week is Thanksgiving, so either we still do a stream on Friday, which is Black Friday, and people may be, celebrating and doing different things, or we stream on Sunday and give everybody a chance to, do other things. Do a theory for theory with Chrissy, bring in the fam. That's tough. That's tough. It's tough unless our son is asleep. Let's see. It looks like Sunday is winning, so I think we're we're leaning towards Sunday here. I too am kind of leaning towards Sunday, personally. I think it'd be easier to get a guest if I make the stream Sunday. Pharaoh Ahad said, wasn't Fisher climbing the red line just a rumor? Yes, he was captured. He was a slave, but he managed to break out and broke out other people with him. So theory for theory with Eddie Heartthrob. He hasn't seen the series. Ending the poll. Let's see. What's one obscure character in One Piece that you want to figure out? For me, it's... And then they didn't answer. That's a good question. For me, it's Mr. 9. They never made a figure of Mr. 9. A lot of the obscure characters post time skip are, the official figure makers have not made a lot of characters, but I also collect custom figures from groups in China that try to fill in the gaps, but they mostly do post time skip stuff. So a lot of the stuff in the pre time skip is still really empty. There's never been a Koza figure. There's never been a Mr. 9. A lot of Baroque works is still not done, so it's tough. Let's see. My guy Dan and Carlo, have I considered doing a podcast? This is a podcast. It's a video podcast. Essentially. What about this isn't a podcast? All right, so let's figure out 1068. So we need to follow up more on this Cypherpole business. We're either going to see what Kuma is going to do, or get an idea of what's going on here. Zoro and Brook have not been seen for a couple of chapters, so we're actually probably going to focus on Zoro and Brook finally. And they're made it so Vegapunk is stopping these guys from docking, but there's got to be someone else that's already on the island. Sentomaru was listed as Vegapunk's bodyguard, so maybe we see Zoro versus Sentomaru in the next chapter. Like, he finds the Sunny and like starts attacking Brook and Zoro. Because Sentomaru should already be there. The notification that Shaka is not going to allow them to dock needs to make its way back to Marijoa, and then we need to see their response to that. So whether that happens in the next chapter or not, who knows, but I think it will. And then they're going to call reinforcements to Egghead. Because if the goal is to kill Vegapunk, but Vegapunk isn't allowing them to dock, then that means that this mission isn't going to be very discreet. And maybe they decide they want to Buster Call Egghead, you know? Like, just like, all right, you know what? Dispatch them. Let's go. Gold button. Ty said he missed the poll. I think we're going for Sunday, Ty, because it's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's going to be on, Thursday. People are probably going to be shopping on Friday or still be with family. So I think I'm going to do the stream on Sunday. Chin saying Kaku lands on the Sunny Water 7 callback. I mean, that's possible. Because here's the thing too, right? Is that they can use Soru. So they don't necessarily have to dock. The three of them could just say, alright, these, lames behind us that can't use these techniques, you guys can stay here. Unless, I mean, they're Cypherpole too, so they who knows? They may know Soru as well, and then it's just a bunch of people flying in the air to the island because they're like, okay, we don't need a boat. We're coming. In which case, then, it's Zoro and Brook against a bunch of Cypherpole agents, which would be a lot of fun. It's possible. Now, can the Kuma fly? It has wings, but we haven't seen any of the Seraphim actually use their wings. Can they? This Danny said Zoro should fight Lucci this time. I mean, I'm down for that. I'm down for it. Phantom Greyfire's out of here. Later, Phantom. Yeah, Stussy's mask has real owl vibes. See, the other reason why Zoro and Brook are going to be the ones that run into Cypher Pole in the first place is that oh, that is funny. Vegapunk's head going behind the panels. I like that. Is because they're the only ones that don't know that Lucci's on the way. The other ones know specifically that Lucci is coming. So Zoro may see Kaku wearing that mask and not recognize him. Now, if Zoro sees the pigeon, he'll put together that that's Lucci. But if he sees Stussy and Kaku, he may not recognize Kaku right away until he says something, which would be funny. Barry said, try and cut Sanji's body Kaku and see what happens. See, I would love it if Sanji fought Kaku too. Because back in the day, when I was weekly with, with Water 7 and everything, I wanted Sanji to fight Kaku. I really thought that was going to be the fight. I thought it was going to be Sanji and Kaku. And I actually thought initially that Zoro was going to fight Bluno. Because it just felt like that was like something that was kind of being set up a little bit until it wasn't. And that was like a really cool subversion from Oda to have Luffy take Bluno out. And I'm talking like early on. By the time like Sea Train was going on and everything like that, I was like, you know what, Sanji versus Kaku would be pretty cool. But the thing is too, is like Kaku had no idea what he was doing with his fruit. So now to see him like Cone Killer saying, like, imagine all of the awesome giraffe techniques Kaku has found in these 2 years. I'm here for it. Winston said Brook would be like, who are they? Zoro's like, oh, I beat Kaku back in Ennie's lobby. Brook has to fight someone from Cypher Pole. Everybody else has. He needs to as well. That's it. Dizza is like trying to have me ascend here. This man said, what if Vivi shows up to fight Stussy? Then all the Straw Hats would have fought CP0. Can I have that, Oda? Can I have it? Please? Like, why'd you have to say that, Dizza? Because now I want that. Now I'm just gonna be disappointed. Baby Pluto Jinbei still getting left off. He fought Who's Who was a member of CP9, so Jinbei has fought a Cypher Pole agent. Barry said, you got Oda's number, Randy. Just ask him. You know how many times I've called Oda up and say, why are you playing, with Vivi? Like, when's she coming back, Oda? Man just laughs. All right, guys. I think I'm going to start wrapping things up here. This was fun. This was a great time celebrating, 100 chapters. I'll be talking about it when I do the analysis as well, because that's really what the 100 chapters is for. It's 100 chapter analyses. It'll be 100 chapter streams at 1097. But, man, what a journey. Ty said, did anyone discuss why Judge and Caesar could have been fighting? I mean, it doesn't seem like anybody in Mads really liked each other. Even Queen spoke about Judge with disdain, but meanwhile mirrored his tech. I just need to go back after the stream is done and go back to Whole Cake and see if Caesar was in Capone's body when Judge was in there, like, talking to Sanji, because I feel like they had a conversation already. But I don't know. Davon said, imagine when Brooke asked Stussy to see her. Well, that's coming. Catching up here. Mark said pasta machine and Sanji's going to lose his mind. Right. All right, guys. Chen said, by the way, Randy, no Sabo this chapter. Why would we get Sabo this chapter? Anyway, everybody, I'll see you guys in the analysis. Try and figure out a theory for theory, because we didn't do one last break week. We just had the birthday stream. So I would like to get a guest. We'll see if it's, who's available, because it is a holiday here in the US. So we will find out. So stay tuned to the Discord, links in the comments. Stay tuned to community posts. I'm thinking it's definitely going to be Sunday, though. All right, stream will be Sunday, just to give everybody time for the holiday, and we'll take it from there, and we'll be back for 1068 next, not this Friday, but the following Friday. Okay. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks everybody for 100 chapters of the Savage Crew.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.